When I wear this shirt, some people do ask me about Bitcoin. And when they do ask me, guess what I tell them about? Satoshis, ladies and gentlemen. Satoshis. Welcome back to Satoshi Saturday, episode number 3. Today is Saturday, February 24th. Wow, time is flying. 2024. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Bitcoin block height. That is today's Bitcoin price. And that, my friends, is how many Satoshis you can get for $1. Today is a special day for me personally. Today is my 3-year anniversary of the day I bought my first purchase of Bitcoin. Now, in my portfolio of that said Bitcoin, I bought it on Coinbase. I had bought other cryptocurrencies, as you can see from the title, Satoshis versus crypto, unit bias. And when I learned about it, I was like, wow, I can buy Bitcoin like it's gold and Ethereum like it's silver and Litecoin like it's platinum, because I was a precious metal stacker at the time. But I quickly realized I didn't have to buy small units of just other cryptocurrencies, because Bitcoin at the time was like 50 grand. I knew I could buy small increments of it. When I was looking into them, into the cryptocurrencies, I would see how little the other ones would cost. And I was like, wow, I can buy so much more. And in the beginning, I was buying more. I actually had more Litecoin and Ethereum than I did Bitcoin. But I quickly realized I didn't have to do that. And I learned the differences between Bitcoin, Satoshis in particular, with the unit bias than those little small coins. And I'll get into that a little bit in the video. But it's funny, I met a guy a couple of weeks ago at the park when I was taking my grandson up there. And I had one of my Bitcoin shirts, I forget. And he goes, oh yeah, I know about Bitcoin, man. I had that. And then he started naming all these other projects, cryptocurrency projects. And he told me he sold half of his Bitcoin and made a quote unquote profit. And he's got some other coins and all this other stuff. And he goes, you know what's funny? I go, what? He goes, when I first bought Bitcoin, I didn't even realize that you could buy small increments of it. I was buying all these other little coins at first, he said. But then once I realized you can buy small units of Bitcoin, I could do that. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, among other things. Because when you look at the news, what do they show you? They show you the Bitcoin price, right? Of 51, 52,000, 38,000, 45,000, 26,000, whatever the price is. They never tell you on the mainstream media or any place else, to be honest, about the divisible parts of Bitcoin. They never tell you about Satoshis. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I made this series to pass this information on to you guys. And more importantly, once you learn it, you pass it on to someone else. Because once you learn something and teach somebody else, that's once taught, twice learned. Now, let me say this. I am not a financial advisor, and I'm not telling you not to buy other cryptocurrencies. This video is kind of a comparison between Bitcoin, a little bit, and cryptocurrencies, and also to show you that you don't have to buy these little small, quote unquote, cryptocurrencies or tokens that are 30 cents and 50 cents and $1.20 and 5 cents and stuff like that. You don't have to do that. You can buy small units of Bitcoin using the Satoshis, like we already learned about in the first couple of videos. So what I want you guys to do is go to this website right here and look at the market caps of the top 10 quote unquote cryptocurrencies. Now, there's two things that always remain the same. Ethereum is number 2 on this list, always, and Bitcoin is always number 1, hands down. It's usually about a 48 to 52% ratio of how much of the market cap that Bitcoin actually owns. Meaning, if there's $2 trillion in the whole quote unquote cryptocurrency space or market cap, Bitcoin usually owns 48 to 52% of that. And mind you, there's probably over 30,000 quote unquote cryptocurrencies out there. That's number 1. Number 2, when you look at the top 10, I want you to go over and look at their market caps, what they individually have in their so-called token or project, I like to call them, how much money individually they have in that. Look at the price. And also what I want you to look at is the units. How many tokens are there? Now, as of this recording, there's about a little over 19.6 million Bitcoin mined out of the 21 million total of supply. That's it. That's all there is. Now compare that. How you doing, sir? Now you compare that to those other cryptocurrencies. There's hundreds of millions of them. Some have billions, some have trillions. I think a few of them have quadrillions of the units. That's why they're so quote unquote cheap at 5 cents, 10 cents, 50 cents. And people that buy Bitcoin, I remember I had a nurse and I was talking to her about Bitcoin. And she's like, oh yeah, I got some Bitcoin. And she pulled up her Coinbase application or app. And what did she have on there? She had Bitcoin at the top, but she had Ethereum and blah, blah, blah. She had about 6 or 7 different coins and she thought they were all the same. Bitcoin is not crypto, and crypto damn sure ain't Bitcoin.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay.
So when she showed me her portfolio, I looked at it and I said, do you know the difference? She's like, oh, well, yeah, I know Ethereum's going to do this and that. And all she talked about was cashing in. And, you know, oh, I almost doubled my money. I'm going to sell and cash in. And we're going to get into more of that, quote unquote, taking profits in some of these more Satoshi Saturday videos. But again, she just didn't understand. But on this channel, you will understand. This is why, quote unquote, cryptos go up when Bitcoin goes up with the market, because Bitcoin is like a whale. Just think of watch a documentary on one of those huge whales and look at those little fish floating on their backs. Bitcoin is the whale, like I said, and these little cryptocurrencies are like the little fish eating off of Bitcoin. Because many people have their Bitcoin or their quote unquote cryptocurrency portfolio not off the exchange. They have it on the exchange all together, looking at it like it's the same thing. And it's not, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. So when you look at these cryptocurrencies, or what I like to call projects or tokens or whatever, ask yourself this: what problems do they solve, right? Now, before I get into their problems, and again, I'm not bashing cryptocurrencies. I'm a capitalist myself. Invest your money however you want to invest it. If you want to invest it in a stock or some kind of company or whatever, you can do that. I'm making this video specifically for the unit bias of Bitcoin. I want you to know that you don't have to do that. And also to let you know the difference between Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because Bitcoin is the base layer of money. Again, cryptocurrencies are not. They lost that race, but I'll get into that in a minute as far as sound money goes. So ask yourself, what do each of these cryptocurrencies do? What problems do they solve? That's number one. And then once you figure out, oh, this coin is for AI, or this coin is for, because some of them are the rails for central bank digital currencies. And this coin does this and that. And you don't understand, Jerry, this coin will do this. And I'm like, oh boy. Anyways, again, I'm not knocking cryptocurrencies. They're just not Bitcoin, guys.
There is no second best.
Now, once you figure out what they do, now ask yourself this. Okay, that's the utility value. A lot of these cryptocurrencies claim to be the new money or something like that. So take away their monetary value, meaning take away that they're going to be the next money, because they're not. Bitcoin already won that. And number two, take away what they're worth, how much, quote unquote, they're worth each coin. Take that away and just look at the utility value and tell me what it'd be worth then. Because a lot of people that get into cryptocurrencies is not just there for utilities, the utility value. They are, but most of them are there because they want to make quote unquote money. Fiat currency, want to trade it in. They're not going to keep it and hold it forever. They're just trading it, flipping it, and turning it into cuck bucks. That's what they're doing. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what they're doing. So again, ask yourself, you take the monetary value off of these coins and just look at the utility value, what do they be worth then? Now do the same thing with Bitcoin. Take away the 50-something thousand it's worth and look at the utility value. I mean, it's a digital money. It's the base layer of the future money. It's broken up into Satoshis. It solves inflation. It's fair money. I mean, I could sit there and make a whole video about Bitcoin's utility value. Again, ask yourself, if you do own cryptocurrencies, what are they worth without the monetary value? Now that you've done that, ask yourself this. Is your cryptocurrency, or the one you're thinking about buying, is it really decentralized? Bitcoin is. Now ask yourself this. Who owns your coin? And how was it launched? How much venture capital money was put into it? How much of the coin does the CEO own? Who is the CEO? What kind of person or people are they? Ask yourself that. Well, let's ask that same question about Bitcoin. Bitcoin had an immaculate conception. I'm not disrespecting the Bible or God or anything like that. I'm not comparing the two. But what I'm saying is, or Jesus, but what I'm saying is, it was created and the owner left. Or the person that created it left. He's not the owner. Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody has any idea who that person is. They left that network for us to build on it. Even if they came back, they couldn't own it. It's running on its own. That's number one. Number two, it's a peer-to-peer network. There's no need to ask permission. I can send you sats and you can send me sats. Speaking of that, if you want to help the channel out, there's my Lightning Network address. If you want to send me something Lightning, because I give away a lot of Satoshis here on this channel, and every Satoshi that you donate will be given back. I mean, it's not from my pocket. So ask yourself that. Ask yourself who's the CEO, who owns it, and how was it created, and how much money did it take to do that? It was all about making quote unquote fiat currency and not solving problems. There are some good projects out there. I'm not saying all of them are like that. I'm just saying most of them are complete garbage. And me personally, I don't have enough time to sift through what's good and what's bad. I just don't. Bitcoin is the base layer, guys, that most things are going to be built on top of. But most importantly, these cryptocurrencies that do survive, because a lot of them won't, Bitcoin is going to be the layer that these things are built on top. And the reason I'm saying a lot of them won't is because they're projects. Number one, because people just, put some money in and they just, try it out and things like that. I think a few of them, maybe 5 to 7, will last. But I'm telling you right now, if they claim that they're money and they're trying to be the solution for our broken money system, they're not going to last. Again, take away the monetary aspect of them and just leave the utility. And if their utility is money, they're not going to last. I'm just telling you that right now, guys. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. And speaking of network, let's talk about the network effect for a minute. Now, what the network effect in layman terms is how many people are using it and how strong the ecosystem is.
It's a network effect. For those of you who don't know, it is when a network adds more users, it becomes more valuable for every user. So the perfect example is the telephone. If you have a telephone, okay, one telephone, and your friend has a telephone, how valuable is that network? It's pretty valuable, but let's say you connect everyone on the planet. That's a pretty valuable network, right? That is what a network effect is. And Bitcoin is a network effect business. I always think about this tweet right here. Bitcoin took 6 months to get 1,000 users. Today, 13.8 years from inception, it has 300 million plus users. 4% of the world. At the current growth rates, 1 billion users will be hit in the next 3 years. 12% of the world will be using Bitcoin in the next 3 years.
Bitcoin, relatively speaking, is a brand new thing, but compared to these other cryptocurrencies, I believe Bitcoin's network is stronger than all these cryptocurrencies combined. User base and the network itself, meaning the miners and the people like myself that run their own Bitcoin node. Bitcoin is the solution to a broken money. It just is. Right now, we are living in a corrupt system of diluted, debased fiat currency that nobody has any idea about. That's what it fixes. Cryptocurrencies do not. A lot of these are the problem. And also, by the way, a lot of these tokens can be printed up too, just like fiat currency. That's not a hard cap, by the way, those numbers I gave you. Bitcoin is a hard cap. It's built into the network. Another difference is Bitcoin is a commodity. Cryptocurrencies are securities, and there's a big difference. Now look that up, and I'll talk more about that in other videos. So if you read any of the white papers of these cryptocurrencies and any of them say anything about money or something like that, I think Dogecoin does that. Guys, they've lost, okay? Again, Bitcoin's network effect is just as strong or stronger than all of these cryptocurrencies combined. So you think one of these out of 30,000 coins are going to surpass Bitcoin? Bitcoin's been around since 2009. All these things are, don't take this the wrong way, but they're all bad copies, man. They're all bad copies of Bitcoin. So in summary, guys, listen, you can buy whatever you want. I am not telling you not to buy cryptocurrency. All I'm saying is, if you don't have your goal of your Satoshis, I wouldn't even bother even looking at those things, to be completely honest with you. I would just study Bitcoin, get to the Satoshis you need up to the level that you're at, and then hit your goals. Because again, you can only spend your money once, your cash once. You can make more, but you can't spend it twice. And I would be building on buying these Satoshis, these little pieces of the internet or pieces of blocks of New York City, because I'm telling you right now, guys, these cryptocurrencies, a lot of them are gonna die off. And me, like I said, me personally, I don't have time to sit there and figure out which one's good or bad. So I'm not telling you not to buy cryptocurrencies, but what I am telling you is you don't have to buy those little small ones because of the unit bias. You can get unit bias or get little small units of Bitcoin with our favorite thing. You can get them through Satoshis, and 100 million of them are in each Bitcoin. And remember, when you look at your Satoshis, you're looking at them like US dollars. We already talked about that. You can get thousands of them for a couple of bucks, like we always said. But at the end of the day, guys, once the network effect catches up around the world and people start understanding Bitcoin and Satoshis, because it's going to be very, very hard to get one Bitcoin. I may make a video next week telling you how many Satoshis it'll take to be rich and things like that. But guys, you're already rich now because you're getting the information. And at the end of the day, everybody's going to be transacting in the hardest money in the world in those Satoshis. And what you're doing, learning about them and collecting them every day, you are about to change you and your family's future forever, your generations. Because again, your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids will not be able to get the Satoshis that you're getting today at the price you're getting today. They're just not. So again, guys, keep collecting those Satoshis today so you don't have to work for those same Satoshis tomorrow. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.